Untitled
No.
Podcast
with
Chad Ferguson.
Hey everybody, this is Chad with the I Want to Know podcast, a kick-ass podcast. I am super excited about this episode because I went to see Cirque Du Soleil last week, and I just put a post out, and a couple of the performers had liked my post, and I invited everybody, and Emmi Bjorn has agreed to join us. She's a freestyle footballer. How's it going, Emmi?
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem.
I'm really excited to be here, and Calgary has been great so far.
Awesome. So let's the proper pronunciation of your name.
So my name is Emmi Bjorn.
There you go. That sounds much better than when I said.
But it wasn't that bad. It was good.
Not that bad. Not bad. Little practice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Cirque du Soleil to start. What's the process to get into Cirque du Soleil?
For me, I guess I was a little bit lucky with this one.
Yeah.
So there is one other freestyler in Luzia, and he's my partner on the stage. So a few months ago, it was spring. I can't remember the month anymore. It was pretty hectic time when it came to school and everything that were going in my life. But yeah, he counted me there is one girl, but she's quitting the job over there. And he asked am I interested to take her place? And it was basically because he saw my videos on Instagram, and he was like, I like your style. I think we would put on a good show together.
Cool.
So that's how it all started.
So you didn't know him at all before the show
No,
started?
no.
It was just following each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
He's originally from Africa. I can't remember, to be honest, the country, but he's been living in France for many years.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So obviously he lined it all up, and was there auditions or anything that you needed to do?
So before that, they already had casting.
Yeah.
They contacted few freestylers, and after that, they took me into casting as well. So after that, they wanted me send some videos of my training clips to get to know what's my level, and my tricks, and then they made the decision about those.
How much of the show do you guys get to do on your own? Are you really just freestyling out there, or do you have a routine that you're doing?
We have when I went to Montreal, we created the base. So we have the base that we have to be able to do every day during every show. But if we if someday you feel a little bit better, you can try some new tricks on the stage. It's pretty free. It's freestyle, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But we all have the base what to do.
Cool. When I watched the show, which was amazing, by the way, it blew my mind. Anyone who hasn't seen
Super happy to hear that.
They gotta go. You have to spend the money and see it. But when the juggler was out there, he was trying crazy stuff on the night we were there, and he had a couple attempts that didn't work out, and then he tried again and did it and completed it.
Yeah, he's my favorite of the show. I really liked the power and energy he's having during his act.
And it's insane how fast his hands
Yeah.
are. The spinning of because he's got, I don't want to give away too much of the show, but he's got these bright silver or chrome bowling pins that he juggles.
Yeah.
And they're outstanding, the lighting and just the way he does it. It blows my mind.
Yeah, and even when the stage is normally, before that is straps. Mm-hmm. And the stage is still even though we do the mopping between the acts, it's pretty wet. So it's probably hard for him, but of course that's something you get used to in a time. But when I see him doing juggling and running at the same time with wet stage, that's in my opinion crazy combination.
But
of course practice makes
Practice makes not perfect. What does my wife say? Practice makes progress.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what was it like? You go to the auditions and they like your skills, and then they offer you a contract?
Oh yeah, I heard Abu, the guy who's doing the freestyle, he updated pretty much to me about what's going on there with the casting and what do they think about, and I heard the names. The other freestylers, I knew them before from the competitions and Instagram and this social media stuff. Yeah. There is not so many female freestylers, but it's increasing all the time. And I heard they were like thinking about if I have enough experience because I haven't done this for too long.
Yeah, you were telling me on the drive over here, you only started at 17, and you're 21 now.
I heard about it like when I was 17, but basically like I started November 2017.
Oh, so only like 2 years of doing it.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
So I heard many like people from the casting, they refused.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go. I don't know like the reason for that. And yeah, I was totally surprised when I got the contract. But I'm super happy.
Was your family excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they were like a little bit scared, like, oh, seriously, you sure you want to go for that? It's pretty far away, it's gonna be rough. But I was like, yeah, but this is my dream. I want to go for that.
Yeah. So you signed a 1.5-year contract with them. Are you only doing Canada?
After Vancouver, we are going to Europe. We are going to London, Moscow, and after that we go to the what is called Gran Canaria Islands.
Canary Islands.
Yeah, and then we go to Spain, Madrid. Wow. And after that, I don't know.
For a 21-year-old, you're traveling to all these amazing places.
Yeah. I'm super grateful about everything.
Yeah. I was telling you on the show, I grew up in Vancouver. On the drive here, I grew up in Vancouver, and it's a beautiful city. If you liked the trip to Banff, you're going to love Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm sure about it.
You have to check out Whistler and Cypress, and I'll give you a whole list of things to check out down there.
Yeah, and it has been an amazing experience here. Like I really love people over here. They're super friendly, and I was super confused. I remember when I went to Montreal, it was my like first place where to go. I went to the head school of Cirque Du Soleil to prepare for the show, doing my makeup and learning my my number.
Yeah.
That we created over there. And I was so confused. It was weekend, I was going to the downtown with my friends. And one girl started to talk to me, like in the metro. I was like she's asking, oh, how are you? Like, how you doing? I was like super confused because that's like so abnormal in Finland, That's not happening.
Really?
Yeah. That's something that's happening.
The cultures are very different, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long were you in Montreal for? What is so you had to learn your makeup, you had to come up with your basic drills and routine and stuff.
So it was 3 weeks.
Wow. That seems like such a short time to put together a plan.
Yeah, I was talking with my mom one day on the phone. I was like, oh my goodness, like about 4 months ago, I was so sure I'm going to continue my studies, and now I'm here, like working for a big circus company.
Yeah.
It's funny how life surprises. Yeah.
Run away with the circus.
Yeah.
So after that's all done in Montreal, you guys came and set up in Calgary.
Yeah.
What does a day look like for the performers?
Like you mean here or in Montreal when we had?
Let's do both.
Well, in Montreal it was basically like we had 2 day offs, like normally, like weekend off.
Yeah.
And it was like basically about 2 hours of training, like just focusing on the show number.
Yeah.
During the first week, we figured out what kind of tricks I want to put on the show. What are my strengths, And then I had to learn the cues as well, the other numbers and acts I have to do.
Yeah.
During the show. And it was so much fun. I met one girl who's coming as well to Luzia. She's joining us in Vancouver.
Cool.
And we practiced together all the cues there, and it was fun but rough.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was pretty shock to me because I've never been doing work like this.
Well, it's a real job, right?
Yeah.
You guys got to spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day doing stuff for the show.
Yeah. And I was surprised about the amount of the work I had to do over there. I realized I have to work also for my condition more. I had to do gym stuff again, and I've been just juggling the ball for 2 years, so it was a huge shock to my body.
Yeah.
But
to do that physical labor.
Yeah. And then we had the makeup lessons that I was so scared in the first place because I don't use too much makeup.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, will I ever learn this one?
Is it not cultural over there for young girls to do their makeup in Finland?
It depends. There is a lot of it depends a lot. There's a lot of people who like put so much time on the makeup,
Yeah.
but then there is like also somewhat people that not like in doing makeup.
Same
So
as Canada.
yeah,
You get
I've seen that when I'm walking on the street.
the plain Jane all natural girls, and then you get the girls that are spending hours on hair and makeup.
Yeah,
And yeah,
but of course, if you like it, go for it. Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. It must be amazing at Cirque du Soleil with all the people that you're meeting there from different parts of the world,
Yeah.
different cultures, just amalgamating together. And do you guys dig in as young people? Are you super interested in other people's cultures?
It's like, how to explain? It's like, it's funny to see the differences, between the cultures. We are still like all pretty same.
Yeah.
But still you can see the difference, like about the act, what you're doing, on the backstage. But I think it's really cool to share all these experiences,
I bet.
Yeah.
As we were driving up here, I was just amazed because at such a young age, which you have no other choice. Like the circus isn't going to hire a 50-year-old guy, or rarely going to hire the old people to come to the show or to do the show. So you've just got this huge group of people your own age. You guys get to travel for a year and a half. I'm sure there's people that'll switch in and out, but the friendships you got to be making have to be amazing.
Yeah, of course, like there is one like girl from Finland as well, so we are so close to each other. And when I came here, the welcome was super nice. But still, I feel like when we are like, because we spend so much time together.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need some new faces as well,
Yeah.
So it's that's something I'm a little bit afraid doing this job, because we're all the time spending together,
It's work.
with the workmates. Yeah, so most of the time during if we have like free time, I like to spend it by my own. I like to have my own space as well.
Yeah.
And if we are like working long days over there, you really need time by your own.
Yeah.
At least I feel so.
Cool. Did you do any performing prior to being on Cirque du Soleil?
Like before this.
Yeah.
So we have the association in Finland, Freestyle Finland. There is like other freestylers, like we have a group,
Yeah.
and we do performances together for some sport events. And for example, I've been like performing for schools, and in some kind of like sport events that's meant for primary school students.
Very cool. So
it's so different compared to this. This was so like, to be honest, I didn't know where I'm coming when I first came here. Like when I was in Montreal, I felt super good about the training and everything. But when I had my first training on the stage, I was pretty shocked, because I realized it was like, it's so different.
Yeah.
I was so excited about the first show, but then I got nervous for the first time. I was like, oh god, it's gonna be different. It's not same that running the number on the backstage,
Right.
with normal lights. And
Do you feel the energy of the crowd? Does that get you excited, or does it make it more nerve-wracking?
that's what gives me the power and
Awesome.
energy. So all the staging we had, I feel way much more nervous over there than doing the act in front of like thousands of people.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just feel like it gives me so much power when I see people smiling and enjoying the show.
Yeah. I was telling you on the drive over here that I've just recently started public speaking, and I have a hard time understanding the energy of the crowd, or being able to focus on the energy of the crowd. So for someone so young to be able to feel that and know it and gain your power from it is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of the show? Like, obviously the show is amazing. You like the juggler.
Yeah, well, if I have to choose one, juggler is for sure my favorite one, because I think, in my opinion, it's not the only thing. It's not like having skills, on the stage. It's how you connect with audience. I think that's really huge part of performing.
Yeah.
And when I came here, I felt a little bit bad about myself. I was like, oh, do I deserve this? Because I know freestylers who have been doing this for way much longer than I have done. So I was like, oh, am I good enough for this? And now I've been realizing that it actually, in the end, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because not like not all the people understand what's like hard trick and what's like easier one, and it's about how you connect with people. If you just do the tricks and you're like not making connection with audience, it's I think it's just a huge part of performing. I think that's the reason why I deserve to be here.
Yeah, it's a whole other skill set to like juggle the ball is one thing, but to get the audience engaged is another one, right?
Yeah.
And what's the juggler's name?
Sally.
Sign?
I can't remember the last name. Sorry,
Okay. No,
I'm
all
still
good.
a new person here, so.
Well, you guys have only been doing the show for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like, and for me, it's extremely hard to remember like some, names. Still, like even though I have been speaking with most of the people, I struggle to remember all the names.
Do you remember how many people are in the show? There's got to be over 100
There is, like,
performers.
No, we have 45 or 42 performers.
Oh,
But because we're all to the cues, in the different numbers, so it might be
Costume
looks like
changes and
yeah. Everything happens so quickly on the backstage.
yeah.
But of course, we have like, I think it's like a bit over 100 people
Okay.
working over there.
Yeah. I was researching Cirque du Soleil while we were waiting for the show to start, and they've got something like 5,000 employees total around the world. They do like $870 million, I think, in sales. It was a crazy amount. But when you see the show, you can tell like the technology that goes into it. And I don't want to give too much away because it really is amazing. But the water features that they did in this particular show, it'll blow your mind. Like if you've never seen that before, it is outstanding.
Yeah, but still it it feels a lot like people when you first come, but I'm sure like in time, of course, I like already recognize all the faces over there and but there is a lot of going now, like because I'm very beginning, there is still plenty of things to learn. So
do you feel like this is going to lead to more performances? You'll want to do this more at the end of the year?
like in the future, do you mean like after this, when I finish this one?
Right.
To be honest, I don't know. To be honest, I think there are gonna be like performances, and I really hope so because I enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I will enjoy this one, and let's see afterwards what's
That's
happening.
a good attitude to
Yeah.
have. We were talking about how we're both sort of perfectionists. We really like to do things well, and we're very rarely satisfied with the end result. We're like, I could do that a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so to not think too far ahead for someone like you, I think is pretty powerful.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm super demanding person, like to myself. But now I've started to realize like we do normal like 2 shows per day.
Yeah.
You can't always do perfectly
Yeah.
on the stage. So I just think about that. Like if I drop the ball, it's cool. I still have something that not so many people are able to do.
Yeah.
So
Like how
it's
big is
just
that community? It's nothing.
Yeah, and it's more about how you react if you do a mistake over there.
Yeah. That's what I was noticing about the juggler. He had made a mistake during the show, and you could just see in his mind, he went, I could do this. And he grabs it, and he does it again, and then he perfects it. Like, it's beautiful.
It doesn't matter, even though he's like, if he fails, I think it doesn't matter because the show, like, it's the number in the whole, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So
there's an old saying, I think comics used to say it all the time. He goes, it doesn't matter if you laugh or not, I've already been paid.
Yeah.
Right? You got your contract, you've been paid, doesn't matter. But you could tell that you want to do well, though.
Yeah, but I was just saying the same, like, of course we all want to give our best shot, on the stage.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about, or did you ever get a chance to practice on like the trapeze or the swings? Or
no,
anything?
but I'm curious when I get like more like how to say comfortable about everything over there.
Yeah.
I'd really like to try like some other stuff they're doing. Like
which one? What would be your favorite?
Again, juggling would be nice, and straps. That's something because I've never tried that one.
Like the swing at the beginning?
Yeah, the one like with the ropes. There's the lion, jaguar. You remember
Right.
that?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be something so cool to try.
Yeah. The puppetry in the show was outstanding. Like when you, the horse, I think, is the first one you see.
Yeah.
And that thing is what, 12 or 15 feet tall, like 3 meters
Yeah.
tall, 4 meters tall.
Yeah, it's
And-
pretty huge.
Yeah, and it looks so real. Like as they're
Yeah.
walking it out, it's outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Finland, obviously, you said you just started doing the freestyle football like 2 years ago. That's not a big part of the culture out there. What got you into it?
Well, I played football for 8 years. Of course, that helped me a lot. Like with juggling, I had the base, I was able to juggle the ball. That's a huge thing for freestyle football. But there is not so many freestylers in Finland, maybe 30 to 40.
Yeah.
So it's
In the whole country.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But it's increasing all the time, and I see like when we have we are performing in the events, we can see like pretty many kids they got excited.
Yeah.
Excited about it, especially boys.
Yeah. You're the pioneer then. There's not many that came before you in Finland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like those old school players that have been in the game like for 10 years.
Yeah.
I think the longest one guy have been doing this for 11 years or something like that.
Okay. The I know nothing about the culture of Finland, so most of my questions are going to sound ignorant. But what was it like to grow up in there? Obviously, it's a winter-based country. Like it's cold there a lot of the time.
Yeah, I started to really appreciate more my home country when I started to travel more.
Yeah.
I told you I was traveling around to Europe before coming here.
Yeah.
And then I realized like how well we have things in Finland. Of course, there is, as we told about it, like there is always bad and good sides. But I really enjoy my job. But I'm also like so excited to go home for holidays.
Yeah.
I really like the culture over there, and all the nature is a big part of my heart. So that's something I really love in Finland.
Is there some food or drink that you're missing that you can't get in Canada?
Oh yeah, something I found pretty hard. Probably there is like a lot of options as well here, but I'm vegetarian, and I feel like in Finland we have a little bit more substitutes for the meat
Yeah.
on the stores. So, but we have the kitchen at our workplace. It's really good. They have really good options over there. But when I do my regular shopping, in a supermarket, I feel like a little bit lost. Like, what can I take? Oh, what's good for me here?
We feel the same way. So I told you I have a 14-year-old daughter,
Yeah.
and about a year ago, maybe not quite a year ago, she decided to go vegetarian. So not quite vegan. She'll eat a little bit of fish, and she eats dairy and stuff like that. But trying to find foods for a 14-year-old that can still get her the protein and the vitamin B and all this stuff.
Yeah,
that
it's
she
really
needs.
important to have all. Yeah.
It's difficult to do, and my wife, as everyone on the podcast knows, is a holistic nutritionist. So, we work really, really hard for our nutrition and our health. And doing it as a vegetarian is a hard way to go.
Yeah, it depends so much. I think it was super easy in Finland. Super easy. Like there is always like good options on the stores, and
Do you eat fish at all? Or
no.
you're just-
I was vegan for a while.
Yeah.
But when I started to travel, I was like, yeah, it's going to be way much easier for me to use, for example, dairy products.
I'm trying to remember what it's called, but isn't there like a traditional dish in Finland that's like some kind of fermented shark? Have you heard of this? Maybe I'm thinking.
I maybe know what you're talking about, but I don't know if there is like a specific word for that. So I'm not going to say.
Eric, you want to look up fermented shark? From what I understand, and maybe I'm totally on the wrong. Is this what it is? Yeah. Hakaro?
I haven't heard
None
about
of that. I understand that this shark is fermented. That when you open up the can of it, it is so smells so bad, like it hurts your nose.
Really?
And people eat it. I think,
No, I haven't
where's
heard
the
about this
origin?
one.
Ferment.
Some Bruno is it?
Oh, it's from Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
explains-
there
sorry.
you go. I'm completely wrong again. As my ignorance about other countries.
But it's pretty close. It's not too far away.
Not too far away, no. So you guys are a winter country. Obviously, lots of hockey. You said you like snowboarding and
Yeah.
skiing.
Yeah, like snowboarding is something that makes me forget everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess now I'm not able to do that very often because of a job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love it. I love winter basically. Like it's funny because so many people they're like always like, oh no, it's winter coming. It's gonna be cold and dark again. But like most of the time I'm excited about it.
How long is like you guys get daylight still in the winter, right? You're not so far north. It doesn't go dark all day.
Well, basically when I go to school, I see the sun when I walk to school, and when I get out, I don't see the sun anymore.
Yeah.
So it's extremely dark. But when it's sunny and there's a lot of snow, I think it's like just the most beautiful thing ever.
I agree. Yeah.
I guess it's pretty same here.
We don't quite get it that dark. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like there's days where the sun will come up at like 6:30 and go down at like 5:30 or 6. So you still get a good 12 or 13 hours of sunshine during the day here. And Calgary is one of the sunniest places in Canada. So very little overcast. We get tons of sun here. You'll see when you get to Vancouver, there's a lot of overcast, lots of clouds everywhere, and it's beautiful, but it's gray. You don't get those as many bright sunny days.
Yeah.
And you're going to be there in the wintertime. So you got like Whistler and Blackcomb and Cypress. Like you got some of the best skiing and snowboarding in the world is going to be in Whistler.
Yeah, but I think we're not like allowed to do that because it's like pretty high risk for injury.
Oh, is that part of your contract?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess they have to, right?
Yeah, of course, because it's a huge risk.
If you get injured, they have to bring someone else in, train them up quickly.
Well,
try
yeah,
to go
and
on
it's
with
not
the
easy to
show.
get like someone for replacement there.
What are the kind of restrictions they put on you
Like,
in your contract? Like what else are you not allowed to do?
I think that's like we were talking about this with my friend. Like, we went through because the contract is so long. When I got the call from there, I was like, can I hear just basically the main things, because I was so in a hurry. I was traveling at the same time. There were a lot of like things to process.
Yeah.
So it was pretty hard for me, but that's something I found out. They were like they don't want to put in the risk.
Yeah.
And when I went to Montreal, they were like talking about if they're going to put me in the show or not, because I had the lower back pain.
Oh.
I've been having, since I started freestyle football, a nerve pain in my lower back on the right side.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's not bothering if I'm not doing tricks that cause the pain.
Yeah.
But of course, they wanted me like try all the movements, all the fitness evaluation tests, and I was so like scared when I heard they're not like sure if they're going to put me on the show.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be a risk for them as well. If it gets worse.
Yeah. Do they have doctors at the show?
We have like the PMED group. They're helping if you have any like physical problems over there.
Yeah.
For example, I do almost every day like some exercises together with them to improve my like
Lower back and abs
yeah,
and stuff like that.
and it has been way much better. They've been helping me a lot here.
Very cool.
They
yeah.
really take good care here.
I don't think people outside of the circus realize like all the people involved to get that show going. Like it's not just the performers and a couple of choreographers. Like you have to have medical, you have to have food, you have to have,
I was surprised as well because I didn't know about. Still, I feel like everything is so new to me. I didn't know about this like company too much.
Yeah.
Before. So yeah, it was a surprise to me.
Have they been to Finland before?
Some of the shows, I only can remember Crystal.
Okay.
It's like on the ice, just arena shows, like no big top shows.
Okay.
But
and so you had never even seen a circus show before this?
When I was in Montreal, I went to see Allegria.
Okay.
Cirque Du Soleil, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
But nothing back home?
No.
Wow.
To be honest, like 1 year ago, I was in World Open Championships of freestyle football, and I met this girl who worked here before as a freestyler for this company, and that was my first time I heard about Cirque. like I got, of course, I saw like posters, and like some advisors about the shows, but I never paid more attention for that. After that, I figured out like, oh, it's a huge company and they have a lot of shows. It's not only like a couple of shows that's running up like somewhere here in Europe or something.
Yeah. Because Finland is a small country, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the population is?
A little bit over 5 million people.
Well, that's way bigger than I thought. That's still pretty
Really?
big. Yeah.
All the people, it's quite opposite. There's like, oh, I assume there's like more people living there.
Yeah. I think Vancouver is about 4 or 5 million
Yeah.
people, and Calgary's a million.
Yeah.
Maybe Canada. What's that?
Lower mainland is 4 million.
Yeah.
But just Vancouver is like 600,000.
Right. Oh, well, yeah. Vancouver
Yeah.
City is very, very tiny. Canada overall is like 34 million people.
Yeah.
But then you go to the States and there's like 300 million people.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount. I felt like I think that was scary because when I went to Athens, when I was traveling around to Europe, I think that's the reason why I like Calgary, because it's not too crowded, you know.
Yeah.
The streets in Athens, I get like super anxiety, you know, walking on the street in the rush time.
Yeah. You're just shoulder to shoulder and you got people everywhere.
Because you're used to have their own space. I think that's something that's a huge thing in Finland.
Yeah.
That people appreciate, you know, the personal space you have.
Are your neighborhoods similar to ours? Like here, our houses are really, really close together. Like my neighborhood, there's not too bad. But if you go into Calgary, like literally, if you stretched your arms out, you could almost touch the next house.
It depends. It depends about the areas a lot.
Okay. Do you grew up in like the city part of it? What city are you from?
I grew up in a city named Kite.
Kita.
It's extremely small. With there are living like 10,000 people.
Okay.
And I've been living my full life in a farm.
Okay.
So
What kind of farm?
we had like cows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like more like a hobby farm, or is your dad like a cattle rancher?
Yeah.
Cattle
It's
rancher.
like as a job, and it was like, but I feel so super happy I lived there.
Yeah.
Like,
My wife's whole family are cattle ranchers, so we're around it a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah. So are yours milking cows, or do they
milking, yeah.
milking cows? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's something when I was younger I didn't appreciate that too much. You know, I saw all my friends like being on the together like in the like downtown, you know, of the city, and I was like, oh, I'm not able to come because there's like 10 kilometers. My parents are working. I don't have like any way, you know.
That's a long ways to go for a little kid.
Yeah, but now I appreciate more when I go and visit my family. It's nice to have the peace over there, you know. There's no neighbors like bothering you. And
Yeah, the quiet.
Yeah.
Does that bother your parents that you became a vegetarian? They own a cattle ranch, for crying out loud.
It was a shock to them, like in the first place, and they were like, "No, please don't do that."
Right.
But of course, they got used to it. Now, always when I go home, I'm visiting them. They're like, "Oh, what do you want to eat? We can make some vegetarian food for you." And yeah.
What's some of your favorite vegetarian dishes?
There is a lot of good options, but lasagna is probably my favorite
Which one?
Lasagna.
Lasagna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so basic, but it's still it never disappoints me.
Super tasty. Yeah. Something about Italian food that's just like a comfort food, right?
Oh yeah, totally agree.
I would say my favorite vegetarian dishes come out of India. There's so many Indian vegetarian dishes, the curry dishes. I like the meat dishes there too, though. So man, I'm just talking about my bad. So growing up on a farm, obviously you get bussed in and out of school and stuff like. Well, did we ask this already? When what got you excited about freeballing?
What?
About freestyle football.
Football. I saw the video from YouTube. I was like, when I started football, I always like enjoyed juggling. If I saw like people like juggling the ball, I was like, that's so cool. I want to do that as well.
Yeah.
I always like to have like I love football because it's a team game. You share like the feeling of the winning, you know.
Yeah.
Succeed, and the failures. You also shared it together, you know, all the moments. But I still like to have my own like individual space, you know. I was a goalkeeper. I really enjoyed it because I had my own spot.
Right.
I had like my own, you know, job to do. And I think that's the main reason why I get into like juggling.
Okay.
And the main interest started when I saw a video of Red Bull Street Style. It's freestyle football
Right.
competition world championships,
Yeah.
and I saw female final battle from there, and I was like, wow, there's girls doing this as well. Like, oh my god, and they have competitions as well. I was totally amazed about that.
I had no idea. I thought it literally was just footballers that were messing around, just playing.
Yeah, it's like freestyle football is always like almost always like connected to normal football, but it's totally different sport.
Yeah.
But I think it's really good. There has been a lot of discussion about that because some people are like especially some freestylers want to be more separated, from normal football. But I think it's really good way to push the sport up.
Yeah.
It's way much easier for people to connect to this sport because like through the football.
Yeah. I
And
would
it gives so much like opportunities to freestylers.
I would agree. Maybe I'm going to get crapped on for this, I think. Maybe soccer, football isn't the most exciting sport. Like it's a little bit of a slower sport compared to like hockey or, maybe American football.
Yeah.
And so having something a little more entertaining in there like freestyle football could help boost the sport. Although I think footballers, soccer players get paid some of the best money in the world, don't they? As athletes. There's some crazy money getting paid into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the like football games are like one of the places where you can see freestylers.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of freestylers that are doing like halftime shows when there's break. That's really common. I think that's the reason why like freestyle football is also getting like more like popular and thanks to our social media, it's like getting it like
Growing. Do you have a desire when you go back to do some more shows like for the football games?
Yeah, it would be fun. I've only done once.
Yeah.
During Finland against Hungary
Okay.
game, but it was a lot of fun. It's quite free because the audience is pretty far away from you because you're in the middle of the field, so
not like in the circus where like they're right around you.
Yeah,
like it's
but
close.
Yeah. But still it's like I feel like I get more pressure. I remember I went to perform for my primary school. And because there is not so many like students, I got pretty nervous because you can see all the people staring at you and you're like,
so it's
okay,
easier
now
with
I have to
bigger,
do something.
it's easier with a bigger crowd?
Yeah.
Really?
As I said, like staging, it was super hard for me
Yeah.
because I saw only the directors, and my like workmate Abu over there. I got so much pressure, but when I see the audience, I get relaxed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. You were saying that before you came here, you were starting school, or you were in school.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the pronunciation of what you were taking.
Podiatry.
Podiatry. So that's basically a doctor of the feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, basically.
Yeah.
Like 2 years. That and I want to keep continuing my studies when I go back to Finland. Whenever that happens, we'll see. At least 1.5 years now with Cirque Du Soleil.
What was your drive for podiatry?
Well, because I played football, I had pretty much problems with my ankles.
Yeah.
And then I went to see physiotherapist, and he talked about like podiatry. I was like, what? There's really something you can just focus on the lower body.
Yeah.
And when I got the improvement, I was able to do sports again without pain.
Nice.
I was like, yeah, this is something I want to do as well, like help others to like do exercise, like all the exercise without feeling pain and doing sports normally.
Yeah.
And help with same kind of problems I had.
What's a secondary or post-secondary, I guess, education like in Finland? Is it the same as like Canada and the U.S.? It's a lot of money to go to school, or is it government funded?
Government funded. Like I think we are really lucky about our education. It's free.
Your university is free.
Yeah, of course you have to pay something, but mostly it's like free, and we get the financial support from the stage.
Wow.
For 1 month, like it depends where you're living, and are you living alone? Do you have flatmate? Is it expensive area?
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's basically free.
So you can literally choose anything you want and just go.
Yeah.
That is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Like in the States right now, if you take out a student loan, you're responsible for that loan forever. Like there's people that are taking old age security checks to pay for their student loan because they'll, you spend $100,000 or $120,000 to go to school, and you don't get a job afterwards all the time. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so you spend all
It's
this
a risk, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have also student loan, and I can't remember the percent. Is it like changed? But if I remember correctly, it's like if you graduate in a time from the school, like the state will pay 40% of your student loan. So you have to, yeah. So yeah, it's really wise to take the student loan. So many people are like afraid of taking it, but.
Do you have a lot of people coming into from other countries to go to school in Finland?
Well, to be honest, not too many. At least I didn't meet like in my school. We have a lot of exchange students, but not too many like people are moving there.
Okay.
I think more people are moving to work in Finland.
Really?
Yeah, at least that I feel so.
The workforce is very short over there?
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of jobs are they? Maybe we'll move to Finland. You want to go to university in Finland? It's beautiful. Look up pictures. Put them up.
Yeah, and the education is really high over there. So I think, well, I heard many exchange students, they will like, after they visit Finland, they would be like able to live here as well. But I think even though the education is good, they feel a little bit like, especially those people who come from Spain, because Finnish people are like willing to have their own space. It's not easy for a stranger to get in a group, For example, in a school or in a work. Of course, it depends about the person. But yeah.
Have you heard of, so in the east coast of Canada, the Maritimes, they call, if you're not born and raised there, they call you from away. And so like when we went there, we were from awayers, meaning that we weren't from that area. Is it have a similar culture in Finland where people that are from somewhere else, it's hard for them to integrate into the society?
Well, how to say this? This also depends about the person. For me, it was basically when I moved to Helsinki, from close to the eastern part, all the people like notice it how I speak, Finnish. We have their own slang words over there, and they really notice that. But I still feel like I get like in the group. It depends so much. There's so many different type of people like in Finland as well.
Is there a lot of different accents in Finland? Like, is it like Finnish accents?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like just like Canada. The people on the West Coast talk totally different than the people on the East Coast.
Yeah. It was super funny when I moved to Helsinki, and I started to speak more with my classmates, and they were like about some words like, Emmi, what does it mean? What is that word? It's funny, but yeah.
Yeah, we get that here too. Have you heard about East Coasters in Canada, Newfoundlanders?
No.
They have a thick accent. Like it's almost like they're not from Canada.
Oh, really?
That's how thick it is. So you'll meet somebody. I'm sure of it. You'll meet someone from Newfoundland or New Brunswick or Nova Scotia, and they have a thick accent. They're hard to understand.
Oh yeah, I noticed like with some people I have to pay more like attention, to understand, and it takes a little bit more time to process, what like someone said,
Yeah.
I've noticed that with some people, but it's not too bad, at least so far I've noticed.
I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but you've only been speaking English for a very short period of time.
Yeah, well, when you use it, it gets better.
Yeah, your English is excellent for only using it for a couple of years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I tried to learn French, and I had a French business partner for probably 4 years, and he was bringing people from Quebec over to BC to work for us, and they didn't speak any English, so I was trying to speak French to communicate with them. And I asked one of them one day, how good is my French? And they're like, oh, you speak like a kindergartner or a grade 1. Well, that's not too bad. But it took me 4 years to get to that point.
Yeah, but of course we start studying. So, I was like 8 or 9 when I started to study English, but it's, as I told you, the education is a little bit like different. We pay attention more like to reading, and we don't use that much. And I think Finnish people are scared to use English, even though it's good, but we want to be really good in stuff we are doing. So we are like always saying like, oh, my English is so bad. That's what I said when I came here, and many people are like, well, you're doing pretty well. I was like, okay.
Honestly, I understand your English better than I do some Newfoundlanders.
Oh, that's cool.
They're born and raised in Canada. That's how thick some of our accents are out here. It's hard to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was funny. That came to my mind like when I was in Montreal, and when I came to Calgary from there, it was like literally like going a different country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Montreal was so different, but like I really like both of them.
The French in Montreal is even different than the French in other parts of the world. Like we have Quebecois French, right? It's very, it's got its own accent even in French.
Yeah, I met some other artists like in the head score of Cirque Du Soleil when there were like some new shows coming up. So some French people said about that.
Yeah.
That they noticed it.
It's very different. Yeah. So how many Cirque du Soleil shows are playing at once? So you're at Luzia, and how many other are playing right now?
To be honest, I don't know the actual amount, but I know there's like many shows going on. Some shows are staying like for example in Las Vegas, they're only staying there. We have arena shows, like, and then there is also shows like on the ships. That's something I was surprised. I didn't know about that before.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a big top show. There wouldn't be a big top show.
No.
There. It's just
it's way much smaller, but still it was pretty impressive when I saw the videos of that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, how they can make like small space like that impressive, And
right. What's the city you're most excited about going to?
Good question. I'm excited about all the cities. Probably Moscow because I've never been there. I've never been in Russia, even though it's our neighbor country. I've never been there in my life.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a full new experience to me as well. And my parents are probably going there to check out the show, so I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a sister, you said?
Yeah.
Any other siblings?
No, just my big
just
sister.
A sister. So she's going to come see the show too?
Yeah, she's coming. She's coming to London.
Very cool.
With her husband, and I can't wait for that.
That's got to be hard, especially growing up on a farm. Like your family has to be everything, right? Because you're so secluded. So to be away from your family has to be tough.
Yeah, especially my sister. She's the most important thing to me in my life. So it's extremely hard to be apart from her.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. But I'm super excited to see her, in London. She promised to come then, so...
Are any of them planning to come and see you in other countries, or like to Canada or the U.S. or?
No, my sister is all afraid of flying, so she was super happy about we are going to Europe. She was like, oh, maybe I'm able to come to London. It's not too far away.
Short flight and it's done. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You were saying that too. You were a little bit afraid of flying, or you had some nerves when you were flying.
Yeah, I feel like the pressure, in my chest, if there is turbulence or something like that. Even though I keep telling myself, this is really safe.
Yeah.
You don't have to be afraid, but still, But yeah, I think I'm going to get used to it during this year.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too bad. It was my first long flight.
Yeah.
When I went to Montreal, and it wasn't that bad.
No. I told you about my fear of flying, and I only had it once. And maybe I'll tell the audience, when I flew from L.A. to Auckland, I think it's like a 10 or a 12-hour flight. And as you're flying, they always have a TV screen up with a picture of the world, and then they showed your plane and where you are in the world. And when I looked up one time, there was no land around. I was over the ocean, and if we had crashed, I knew I couldn't swim from that. I think I can survive anything. I told you on the drive here, I've been in 10 car accidents, 3 major ones, and I always seem to get away unscathed. I kind of thought the same thing about being on a plane, that I could handle a plane crash. You don't believe me?
That's doubtful.
That's doubtful. Am I not the toughest guy you know? No, not the toughest guy. That's the joy of having kids. They keep you humble, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So your parents still own the farm? They're still doing all the ranching?
Well, my
the
father is
milking?
not working anymore,
Okay.
but my mother just she wants to continue working in a laundry because she's that kind of person who always wants to do something, you know. She wants to have the daily routine, so that's the main reason why she's still there.
Cool.
And she has like friends over there, so she said it's really nice time. Like, of course, it's rough, like the laundry work. It's like harder than you can like imagine.
Yeah.
But she said it's really nice, like to have the daily routines, you know.
Yeah.
You have things to do.
So your parents sold their farm? They retired?
No, they're still living there, but we don't have any, like, we don't have cows anymore.
Oh, just the property
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Did you work on the farm a lot as a kid?
Well, pretty much,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I don't know what my parents would say.
Yeah. Were you guys an automated farm? Like, did you have like milking machines, or did you do
Yeah,
it all-
machines. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot easier than going out. My dad grew up on a farm in northern Saskatchewan. They had to milk their own cows, and
Yeah. Well, I didn't have too much like with with cows. I've like my parents took care more about that. I
Yeah.
think they just would get stressed out if me and my sister went there, to do things. So basically, we did more like house cleaning and that basic stuff,
yeah, washing
That
dishes,
all the-
vacuuming,
yeah.
sweeping. Stuff
Yeah,
like
that all kids do in the families.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, for people that haven't seen it, the show is outstanding. It's amazing. I loved every minute was there. My son, we would look over at each other and just be like awestruck at the amazement of the show. Yeah, I don't know. I had a bunch of notes that I was going to take, and I went straight from work to pick you up, and then had to come out here, and we talked for like 45 minutes in the
Yeah.
car. Do you have any questions about Canada?
Well, not at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, well, one question, like, what's the best place you've been visiting here?
I honestly just got back from a trip. We went 2 weeks in Nova Scotia, so that's the East Coast. It was outstanding. I can say, I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico or seen pictures. The beaches in Mexico, they're as good, if not better, in Nova Scotia.
Really?
And then the architecture out there is outstanding. Like, there's buildings that are 200 years old. It's old Scottish architecture in Nova Scotia. It's called New Scotland, Nova Scotia. So that's probably right now my favorite place in Canada. So much so that we thought about moving there.
Okay.
That it is just, it's beautiful. If you get the chance, I don't know how much free time you guys get or how much traveling you're going to do, but everywhere in Canada is pretty beautiful. You're only going to see the West Coast, right? Just Calgary and Vancouver.
Yeah.
There are some gorgeous places in up near Whistler. There's a little town called Pemberton, but they have these underground hot springs. I think you guys have hot springs in Finland too, right? Do you know?
No.
Maybe I'm thinking of Switzerland. You want to look up hot springs? So, anyways, the groundwater is warm. So, like, you go into a pond in the middle of the forest, and there could be ice and snow around you, and the water is like 35 or 38 or 40 degrees. Like, it's super, super warm. We have it here in Banff as well. There's the hot springs there.
Yeah, I heard actually some people from work, like from Cirque artists, they visited the places.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it's awesome.
It is so healing and so freeing to be in there. Like, it's a high sulfur content in the water, and so
Yeah.
while you're in there, it just relaxes all of your muscles. It's like a hot tub, but it's natural.
Yeah, and also like I told when I came here, like I met like one girl during my journey, like on the plane when I flight from Montreal to here, and she told about me about like places, like and the life in Calgary, and I still feel like all the people here are amazed about the nature, even though it's so close, all the mountains but no wonder why when I saw when we visited Banff for the first time, I was like, this can't be real. Like, I've seen pictures, but when you see it's actually the same as in the
Right.
pictures, I was like, no way.
You're
This
standing at
can't
the
be
base
true.
of a
Yeah.
mountain, and you just see that massive.
Yeah.
Have you got to see any wildlife out here?
Oh no.
No, there's some great hikes. We were just in what's it called? Nordegg, which is sort of would be south of Banff, but it's this.
I heard about it.
We were there and we saw it was either two bears or we saw the same bear twice. Like probably as far as the houses across the street from me, that's how close the bears were. So we have a ton. If you're out in that area taking some side roads, you can see moose and elk and deer and bear, and it's outstanding. There's actually a great wolf reserve.
Oh yeah, I heard some people, some friend of mine from Cirque, they went to see the wolves today.
I heard
Wolf dogs.
wolf dogs.
Yeah, they went to see them today.
You can actually get in the cage with some of them and sit down. The wolves will come up, put their head over your shoulder, and you can pet them. But it's a wolf. Like they're, I don't know. I think they're 180 pounds. They're 6 feet long. Like they're massive.
Yeah.
Animals. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of them. They're pretty huge. It's hard to imagine through the pictures, but still, when you saw like there were some pictures like some like people next to him, so you can like imagine how huge it's like in real life.
It's scary to think those things are roaming around out there. I know in Russia they have these. They're called wolf super packs, and there'll be 200 or 300 wolves in one pack, and they go across the plains, taking out entire herds of cattle, deer, sheep, everything that they got out there. Like they'll devastate entire ranches because there's just so many. Like how do you feed 200 wolves or 300 wolves?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not going to be in Moscow, but it will be outside.
Yeah.
What's the weather like in Finland? What are some of the things you have there?
Well, because I've been living in the countryside for my
Most of your life?
we have the cottage like pretty close to our home. For one day I went for a run, and the bear came like towards me. Yeah, during my run I was like, oh my god. Then
They're black bears though, right?
It's just a regular one, like brown one.
Brown bear,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was so scary, but that's pretty that happens a lot. Like the wildlife, that like the animals, they go, to the backyard of the houses, and because we're not living too close to each other in Finland, so
it's very similar with a lot of our farms out here as the bears are wandering in and out. Northern Alberta has a ton of bears. And then in British Columbia, and I think it's more north of Vancouver though, they've recently stopped the hunting of grizzly bears. So up there is a mass amount, like it's a huge amount of bears wandering around up there, which I don't know that I'm such a big fan of having that many bears. I think you should be allowed to shoot them. They're pretty dangerous.
Yeah. But if you really want to see the best sides of like Finnish nature and wildlife, you probably have to go to the northern part of Finland, the Lapland.
Lapland.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. I wish to go more often over there.
Weren't they filming a bunch of the TV show Vikings in Finland? Like I know there was some done in Iceland.
Yeah, for sure, something.
Yeah. Did you see it happening up there?
No.
No. Have you seen that show?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch it. What's your favorite TV shows?
To be honest, I don't watch too much TV. If I watch something, I normally pick up movie,
Yeah.
and then I watch it.
Is it mostly Canadian, American, European movies you guys get, or do you guys have your own film industry?
We have our own as well.
Yeah.
But of course, mostly like people prefer some movies that come from USA or Canada, Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, there is so many good ones. It changes a lot my opinion. For like while I can be like so hyped about one movie, then I forget it totally. Like last day off I watched all the Hunger Games again.
That was a great series.
Yeah. I watched them only once.
Yeah.
And now I was like, I want to just have a day like doing nothing, because it's pretty overwhelming what we are doing, and especially for me, I feel like that because everything is so new.
Yeah.
So I need something to my own, and now I feel super hyped. I feel like I would be able to watch them again and again.
I'm the same way. I get hooked on the Marvel movies right now. Have you seen any of those, like the Avengers and stuff?
Yeah, some of them. Actually, when I came here, I watched the Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, during my flight, but it's something that doesn't open for me, you know.
That's not
so
your
much.
favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like yeah, there is a lot of good movies I like, but like now I feel so hyped about the Hunger Games, and Star Wars is something I've been really attached. I had like love and hate relationship for that movie, but when the 7th part came out, I was like, okay, I love this. This is so good.
The maybe a little embarrassing for me. I haven't seen all of them. Only the first three. So they came out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The first three. I watched those. I remember having friends when I was like, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old that would go and watch it like 20 times. And I've just never been that. Well, that's not true. I do that now with Netflix. I'll sit on the couch, and if I'm bored, I'll watch The Avengers because that's my favorite movie. Or
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. That's probably another one of my favorite
Yeah, but we
movies.
all have their own stuff that we prefer.
Yeah.
For me, it didn't open like to me in the first place. I remember when I saw the oldest part, you know, of Star Wars, I was like, "Come on, what is this?" Like that was literally my first reaction for the movies.
Yeah.
But when I saw the 7th part, I was like, then the whole thing's like opened to me in a new way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the storyline or is it the
Probably the story and the way, because they have been running up like you know for many years.
Yeah.
And you see the old parts with all the, you know, it's so different compared to movies nowadays. So I think I like the feeling about that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't want to hold you up too long, and I know this is your day off, so we're 1 hour into the podcast. Is there anything else you want to share about Cirque du Soleil before we go?
Well, at least I don't have anything in my mind now.
Okay. I
That's
really
refreshing.
enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
I'm super impressed. For anyone that's not watching, just listening, Emmi is like 21 years old, traveling the world for the first time by herself, and she agreed to come out and do the podcast. We're in a different city, and so you're super brave and you're super well spoken. So thank you for doing the show.
If there's something I would like to say, and it's I was super scared about starting something for new, because I think nowadays you really have to start at young age if you want to like have something, you know, if you want to start something.
Yeah.
But it's really important to have passionate like through things you're doing. If there's something you want to do, just go for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about age, about the situation. If you want to do something, go for it. That's what I want to say.
I'm inspired by people like you that step out, be brave, do something new. You know, you're not an entrepreneur. You're the first one. You're blazing the grounds for people doing freestyle football. So thank you, and I hope you're also inspiring other people.
Yeah, I really hope so too.
Cool. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing, and we'll see you all on the next show. Eric, you wanted to run the outro. Hey, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. This podcast is over.